Hi everyone, welcome back to Copperline Rattler Ranch. I'm Julia. Like I told you in the last video, I'm going to be working on these window frames, getting it mudded. It's a challenge because trying to get the mud into that mesh to grip is a bit of a challenge. I really have trouble on the top side where I'm putting it on upside down. The thing with the mesh, you want it on there just like, it's like this really delicate way to get it on there. Not as far as delicate, but to get it just right, you need a little bit of space behind the mesh, but not so much that you're putting tons of material back there, or so much that when you're working on one section that might have a big bubble of wire mesh, a big space behind it, when you push on that, it'll push the wire out somewhere else, perhaps someplace you've already done. So getting it on there at just the right distance or the right tightness to the wood can be kind of a challenge. So if I get it a little too snug, I really have to work with the mud to get it to grip onto the wire mesh. And also, it's a messy job. I've got mud everywhere. I'm getting mud all over me again. But that's okay, that'll all clean up. So I'm just trying to get it all in this side. I've got the top. I've got to smooth that out, but I'm letting that dry a little bit before I smooth that out. And I'm going to try and get these two sides done. That will leave me with two windows to do. So that's where I'm at today. Don has finished all the holes, the ventilation holes in the I-joists. He has gone up to the barn. That's where we're keeping the insulation that we had left over when we did the walls and the ceiling in the bathroom. I don't know that we have a whole lot of ceiling insulation left, so he's going to go check on that. Either way, what we have is not enough to do the bedroom and the living room. Ooh, he's bringing a lot. And be done with it. So maybe I'll show you. Let's take a look. There he is. Maybe there was more than I thought. There might have been. Interesting. But anyway, that's what we're doing today. Trying to get all these little things done so that we can get this house finished. All right, remember I showed you the big cracks? I did a slip a couple days ago and it is all filled in. Just some tiny little cracks are there right now, no big deal. When we do the lime wash, those will get filled in with the lime wash. Still have to do these giant cracks up here though. So I just wanted you to kind of see one of the issues here. This edge of the mesh, the hardware cloth, is an edge that I cut. So it has all these little sharp, pokey things. I don't like getting poked. So I'm working that edge first before I go into this mesh on the side. And like I said, I don't like getting poked when I'm working it. So that's what I'm going to be doing first on this side. You can see that I already started it. So, whoop. And you push it into, see how that is? You push it into that mesh. You want it keyed in so that the wire holds onto the mesh, or holds onto the plaster. And then you make it as smooth or as rough as you want it. That's where it's all up to you, how you want it to look. A little chunk that didn't get wet. The thing about any kind of wire you put in this cob or any plaster, you don't want any of it exposed because then that will start some rust. Once it's covered and once all this dries, your risk of rust on that just is gone because there's no oxygen in there. No air to cause rust. Only when that metal is exposed. So for example, if I left a little bit exposed, You could eventually, if it got enough moisture on it, it would start rusting and eventually start corroding. And as it would corrode into the mud that's there, it could tunnel its way through and cause some problems later. So that's why you really want to get that all covered. But like I said, once it's covered, it's protected. So I like to think of rust in a similar way to fire. Fire needs 3 components: fuel, heat, and oxygen. And rust needs 3 components: metal, oxygen, and moisture. And if you take away, the moisture is going to dry. You're taking away the air, so that metal is going to be preserved. We're not doing a whole lot of exciting stuff right now inside the house. Dawn's been putting up some ceiling insulation. I've been putting some mud around the windows that need some mud around them before we get ready for some lime painting in there, lime washing. But I have a friend, someone I worked with for many years, Rita, one of the nurses I worked with. She's a fabulous nurse. We just gotta love Rita. She's so full of energy, so fun to be around, and so much knowledge as a nurse. She taught me a lot in the OR when I was going through my training in the OR, couple decades ago. So anyway, she asked if we could kind of give an update when we think we might be actually moving in and what our future plans are for the ranch. So we're thinking probably in about 6 to 8 weeks we'll be able to move in. No guarantees, because we have found that no matter what we do, it takes 3 to 5 times longer than what we think. So we're kind of on a home stretch kind of thing, but we still have to put drywall up on the bedroom and the living room wall. There's just those 2 walls. Finish the ceilings and do the more work on the floor. We're going to do some concrete grinding on the floor, and then we have to seal it, finish it, whatever we have to do to it, and then we can move in. So that's where we're at with that. So let me take you around a little bit and we'll show you what else is going to happen. This is sort of the courtyard, if you will. The house is over here. That's the small pedestrian door on the east side of the house. This is the outdoor kitchen. Now, some time ago, some of you may remember I did like a little tour. As soon as I finished that video, we started having all these nasty cracks and stuff, and the cob falling off of that build. We did a number of things wrong with that. It was the very first earth bag thing that we did, and yeah, it just didn't work out. I know what we did wrong on that, so no big deal. In this area between the outdoor kitchen and this building, which is the laundry, this area will be the indoor-outdoor kitchen. It'll be a separate building that we're going to make in order to keep the heat, particularly in the summer, out of the house. So an indoor-outdoor kitchen, a building, not like the outdoor kitchen. It'll be just like a regular kitchen all by itself with a dining area. In this area, we're not quite sure what's going to happen here. Our son and his family have talked about building out here as well, and this is where we would like them to put their home, in this area over here. We'd like to go ahead and try and do some sort of landscaping in between everything, and eventually we'd like to put some sort of guest house, a small little
guest house over in this area once we clean everything out of there. For anybody to come over and stay, kids, family, friends, what have you. Over here is our garden that, you know, I struggle with my garden every year because I'm not a gardener. But we have a frame, and we're going to be putting a greenhouse over in this area over here. Eventually, probably after we get that kitchen done, we'll put in a greenhouse right in over this area on the other side of the garden, so that we can use for growing our produce all year long. We're also going to be trying to get some trees put in around, some windbreak trees around the property itself, that kind of thing. And there you have that. As far as the outdoor kitchen goes, we're talking about at least taking out 2 bays on this end. We're not using the rocket stoves quite like I kind of hoped we would be using them. Also, I think I made them too long, so it takes a lot of material instead of just a little bit of material in order to cook something on those stoves. The oven works fine. It takes a little bit of getting used to because it's quite different from a regular oven. So I know we're going to at least take out 2 of these bays, if not take the entire structure down and make this just a covered seated area for times when the sun is so intense like today. And get this all cleared out, get some pavers or some sort of landscaping material in there. If we take everything out, then we're going to go ahead and build a more conventional outdoor kitchen with a grill, like a propane grill, that kind of thing, some counter space, prep area, maybe a small refrigerator of some sort out here. So we're thinking that we may do that. The reasons that this failed: number one, I didn't put any kind of foundation under there. The original earth bags are just down there on the ground itself. The cob that I made to cover it with, I added sand, and this was before I realized that our soil has a lot of sand in it already. So that kind of helped the failure. I did seal it with boiled linseed oil, but I only put 2 coats on, and I should have just kept going until the thing just wouldn't take anymore, and that probably would have helped with some of the failures in the cob in these areas. So that's the plan for this. We may just make it a nice outdoor picnic area, put a nice long table in there, or it's just some way to sit outside out of the sun when it's intensely hot out here. I think that's going to finish this video for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Comments, questions in the comment section below the video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time, and thank you, Rita. We love you. Bye. It's nice to be interrupted by a beautiful songbird.